Today's episode was previously recorded. You can tell because Craig's girlfriend hadn't dumped him yet. That's crazy.
Are we recording?
Hold on, man. Trying to get the logo.
Enjoy
So anyway,
Monster
I'm being completely natural.
by Chris Kael. And we're back.
Welcome to the Beardo and the Weirdo.
That's the Beardo. I'm the fucking weirdo.
And somehow I can actually be both.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, I can never be both.
You can't grow a beard?
I've done it. I end up looking like, I look like a Muppet when when the scruff comes in.
Yeah.
I just look soft and friendly. And I can't.
So nothing changes then?
Nothing changes. I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah.
Dude, the fucking fires. The fires are the thing.
I don't know what you're talking about. I
The
haven't heard about
fires in
this.
LA is just so crazy. Do you know anybody who lost their house?
The bass player for Spirit Box.
Mm.
And I heard someone from Primus. I can't remember which guy from Primus. I don't remember. I don't want to speak out of turn on that one. I've tried to kind of stay away from most of this stuff. With all the other stuff going on in life, I try to stay focused on, especially right now, just what's within my control. I don't want to let a lot of negativity in outside stuff that I can't deal with.
You're hardcore about that. Like, I noticed that when it comes to conflicts going on around the world, you constantly are like, dude, I can't control that.
Yep.
So I won't even invest. I don't even want to learn about it.
Yeah. It's poison, consuming poison. Like, I work so hard to keep everything positive and stay on top of my own personal development. Why do I want to introduce anything outside that is going to taint those waters? That's basically where I try to go.
It's amazing how in LA, the comedy community,
Mhm.
the Comedy Store, and the Laugh Factory, and I know that Jimmy Kimmel's show, they've all been accepting and redistributing supplies, anything people need.
Mhm. I've seen a couple of musicians out there too. I saw Paul Stanley was doing feeding first responders.
All right, people.
Now listen.
Everybody line up. We're going to be handing out some water and some sandwiches.
Does this side want some water? What about this side? Does this side want some water?
People, let me hear you crazy maniacs who need some liquids.
And I know there's been a lot of whoa. Nailed it.
Do you guys want some water? I'm not coming over there until you chant my name.
And I want to hear it loud.
Can you imagine? The firefighters are like, "What's the latest on the situation here?" Well, it's kind of weird. We were thought we were trapped, but Paul Stanley from Kiss came flying on a rope over the trees and just airdropped 40 cases of water on us. All right, people. And then Gene goes to do his solo, and they got to start the fires up again.
Nobody's seen Gene. He's disappeared.
Asshole.
Dude blows fire. Come on, Gene. Where you at, buddy? We need to know. Get to the bottom of this. Where was Gene the day of those fires?
The firemen come home. Gene has sex with all your women.
Yep.
Oh man, that's hilarious. Maddie doesn't want me to hit on the table. Sorry, but yeah, dude, the fires so crazy and conspiracy theories are just nuts.
The one thing that I think is going to come out of this is Vegas has had to go to desert landscaping because of water supply issues. Since I moved out here in 2002, they've done drastic changes with new construction and whatnot. There's no grass anywhere. You can have basically, cactus, desert type plants. And I think all new construction probably in Los Angeles, they're going to be cutting out a lot of that stuff because, so many bushes, so much tinder just to be able to burn out there. We're really going to have to kind of focus on that. And I think that that will probably be one of the reforms that comes down as a result of this whole thing. How about the scavengers out there looking to buy property on the cheap now? It's like, oh,
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, and people whose homes did survive are trying to charge a lot to let people stay in their houses that have
happens every time. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's I remember when the pandemic kicked in. I remember thinking, man, we're going to see the absolute best and the absolute worst of people, and that's exactly what happened. There are people who rise to the occasion, but the conspiracy theories always get me because it's that lack of research and just going with your feelings.
Exactly. There's the facts. Feelings are facts to most people these days.
I've known Jim Brewer for over 20 years, probably 20 plus years. We never really that close, but he always was paranoid, always had theories about how, dude, there's a evil empire out there that's overlooking. He'd have all these theories about bands like Metallica. He'd be like, they got too big and the evil forces like, we must stop them. We must slow them down. And he's always been that guy. And I don't know, I haven't seen him say anything about this fire, but about the Maui fire, I saw him do a whole thing on stage where he was talking about, he goes, isn't it interesting that the fires were burning? Oh, I'm going to skip over this rich person's house and then it's burning. And like, oh, let me go past Oprah's house, which is not true. Oprah doesn't live down there in Lahaina. She's all the way up in the hills. And people
Craig knows because he's been in the window.
Yeah.
Oprah. Can I have a car?
I want a car.
Can he have a car? And can he have a car?
But he just had this theory about, isn't it weird that fire doesn't destroy everything? And I'm like, oh, man. Like, it is so, I'm not a fire expert, but here's my knowledge.
Oh, boy. This is going to be quick.
It is going to be quick. I've done benefit shows for the station fire event that happened 20 years ago. Great White did a concert. And the reason why I do these benefit shows is because a friend of mine, Jeff Rader, was in that fire. He was working for the band. And this incredible human being ran out of, it saved lives. He saved 100 lives. He's actually seen on camera. He's the only one turned around. Everybody's rocking out as the fire's going. He's the only one facing the other way going, go, go, go. He saves 100 people. And then he realizes, oh, shit. My girlfriend's still inside. And this dude ran into a burning building.
Damn.
And he died with his girlfriend inside the burning building. Yeah.
Lord.
So I would always do these benefit shows, and I met a bunch of victims. And the victims, like, body's fine, this side of their face, burned. Arm completely burned, rest of the body fine, or just like patches. This is totally burned, this is totally burned.
All the dudes completely burned. Except for there, because they're holding on to that. I gotta save it. I ain't getting laid, but just in case. There's no
rhyme or reason to it. It's fire. Fire is it's just out of control. It's got no rhyme or reason to it. So, hoping that the recovery effort gets to the people that need it. Red Cross seems to be doing a great job, and it's just that was what's wrong with the Red Cross.
Nothing. I was actually just thinking of a joke that Josh Wolf, our good friend Josh Wolf, told me about the fires, and this may need to be edited, but I quite enjoyed it.
Canceled.
I quite enjoy it, and I want to tell you, we did a benefit show this past Monday at Jimmy Kimmel's to raise money to help with some of these.
Josh, Pauly Shore. Sorry to interrupt you.
Yep, and another comic named Kool-Aid was there as well.
Yeah, I know Kool-Aid.
And in our text back and forth, Josh made the joke, this is proof that the Jews don't control the weather, because there would be rain in Los Angeles right now. Were that the case. So,
dude,
credit Josh Wolf.
You
don't cancel me. Cancel Josh.
You say that as a joke. Marjorie Taylor Greene actually she put out a tweet saying, why don't they get the weather system out there?
Cloud seeding.
And she said, they know how to do it.
Yeah. What do you mean they?
Who's they?
We know what you mean. Three-toed sloth.
Yeah, man. There are some
See, I let enough of that trash in here that I somehow know to call her three-toe.
There's some incredible human beings out there. That was the biggest story. The other big story that I saw right in the early stages as it came out, and I retweeted it, was the Philadelphia Eagles fan, which, dude, Eagles fans are notorious. Absolutely notorious.
Was it Philadelphia that put out the tweet? Now, this isn't indicative of most Philadelphia fans. Let me tell you, as a former bartender, yes, it is. Yes, it is. Anybody who tweets out that this isn't indicative of the Philadelphia Eagles fan base, bullshit. That is 100% how they acted. Oh my God. I would work at the Hard Rock Cafe on the 3rd floor during NFL games. And if Philadelphia was on,
specifically, it was Philadelphia.
The worst. No other, not even like Dallas Cowboys or like other people that Raiders fans. Nope. Philadelphia. They were terrible.
Matthew, you got the clip, right? All right, so this is the clip we're talking about.
Oh, yes.
And I'm just remembering a couple of things.
Oh, I'm going to be triggered. It's going to be like being back at the Hard Rock Tenant Bar.
This is the clip that I saw 48 hours ago it was Monday morning after the game in Philadelphia. And this girl, it was 2 fans that are a couple. They're engaged. Mm-hmm. They're both Packers fans. And behind them is an Eagles fan that is relentless. But man, does he play a level that most just won't cross.
After reviewing the play, the runner was short of the goal line. They got one more yard though. They're close. Yeah, but they're not in. It's not a touchdown. Yeah. So you don't jerk off, come in the air. Okay, well, don't call her a dumb cunt. She's an ugly dumb cunt. Cool.
Look at her egging him on still.
Yeah, dude. Philadelphia.
This gentleman caught a lot of flack online because they were like, "You gonna let some dude call your woman that name?" It's 2 people.
Yeah.
Surrounded by Eagles fans.
Surrounded by Eagles fans. Yep.
He did the best thing possible in that case. I am all for violence, people. I love it. Give me an opportunity. I'm breaking your leg. I'm going to kick you shins to chins, baby. But at that dude, kudos to you for controlling your emotions, not getting you both killed while you're in there. That jerk off from Philadelphia. Married dude, too. Did you see that? Oh, he's making a woman real happy at home.
Yeah.
Especially now that he no longer has a job.
Yeah.
The internet wins again.
Yeah, the internet. I mean, that was 24 hours before people were like, all right, here's where he works. Mm-hmm. And then I saw, there's like a half second when you see it. It's like, here's his cell number, here's his email address. And I'm like,
yeah,
for the entertainment of like, hey, how you doing? Like, and I'm like, I'm not going to be that guy. But dude, I was at LAX airport 10 years ago. I saw a guy in front of me wearing it's kind of like a polo shirt, but the logo said NFL Players Association or NFL Players something. And I said, hey, where do you get that shirt? And he goes, I used to play for the NFL. And I go, oh, okay. What team did you play for? And he goes, Philadelphia Eagles. And I go, oh man, were those fans? And I didn't even finish my sentence. He goes, every game was an away game. I go, really? He goes, every game was an away game. And I went, wow, holy shit.
Yeah.
I did a show. You ever had experiences in Philadelphia doing shows like with a crowd?
I have, but nothing really stands out.
So there's the legendary show by Bill Burr. Everybody knows about that.
Yes.
If you don't know about it, in short order, the Opie and Anthony traveling virus hit Camden, New Jersey, which is outside of Philadelphia. And the traveling virus was a bunch of comics. A bunch of people that I knew performed on this thing. It was Patrice O'Neill, obviously Jim Norton, Dom Herrera, Bobby Kelly, Rich Voss, all these guys. There's a couple of mistakes in the planning. It was an outdoor show in the middle of summer, and I think the show ran 3 to 4 hours. That is a long comedy show.
Yeah, it was kind of like an outdoor festival type thing.
Yes.
Which, now that I'm a comedian,
yeah,
I know one of the worst things about a comedy club are tall ceilings.
Yes.
So trying to do an outdoor.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And heat.
Oh, yeah. Exactly.
And
Philadelphia.
Yeah. Letterman. And I love Philadelphia. I've got some great friends in Philadelphia, but Bill Burr goes on stage after they booed Dom Herrera off the stage.
Oh, he was the one that was before him, was Dom.
Was Dom Herrera.
Okay,
and that's
wasn't
why
aware of that.
Bill took it. I ran into Bill a week later because I was in fucking Anchorage, Alaska on a Friday morning. I'm doing radio, and they got me in the control room waiting to go in the studio, and the guy in the control room goes, do you know Bill Burr? And I go, yeah, the comedian. I know Bill. And he goes, did you hear about what happened to him last night in Philly? And I go, what? I'm in Anchorage, Alaska. And he's like, did you hear about what happened to Bill Burr last night in Philly?
Yeah.
And he plays me a clip, and I'm like, what? And Bill came out and tried to do his act. He goes, hey, so I'm married, and, my wife, she's, boo!
Yep.
And they start booing him like they've been booing everybody.
Do you know why they were booing him? Because that was the clip that they were using in the advertising the show all week. The joke that he opened up with was the one that the radio station had been playing all week. So as soon as he gets out there, it's like, we know this one. We've heard this before.
But to hear Bill say it, because I ran into him a week later, he said they were just booing everyone that came on the stage. They started throwing shit on the stage. And then Bill just pauses and he goes, I fucking hate this town so much. This is the worst city
so good
in the world. And it was like, boo! And he goes, no. I got 13 minutes. I'm not getting off.
Yep.
I want to handcuff all of you to your seats and take out an Uzi and kill every one of you pieces of shit. Boo! And he goes, no, I got 12 minutes. I'm not leaving. All of your sports teams suck. The only sports hero that you have in this town is a fake boxer who never existed. You got a statue of a fake boxer. Boo! And I got 11 minutes. I'm not leaving.
Is Joe Louis from Philadelphia?
I don't know.
There was a huge athlete he was a black athlete, and he was like, you guys have this guy. You're so racist.
Oh, yeah.
You put a fake white boxer. That's your statue.
That's right. You got a real great boxer here, but you put. Right.
I loved it. So good.
Oh, yeah. Was it Joe Frazier? Is that, or I don't know. But anyways, so Philadelphia, it's got a reputation. I mean, my God. Matthew, I want you to Google Eagles fans eating horse shit.
Oh, boy.
This is what they do when they celebrate. All right. Now, while Matthew's looking that up, I'm going to tell you about doing a show at a place called the Electric Factory.
Oh, yeah. I actually flew out there to go see a band called The Antwoord. Yeah.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, it was awesome.
From South Africa.
Yeah. Such a good show.
Wow, I love those guys. I wanted to see them, and I never got a chance to see them live yet. But I'm at the Electric Factory, and I'm doing a show. They came to see us. It's 1,500. It's sold out. It's me, Artie, Sal the stockbroker, Richard Christie, Reverend Bob Levy. We're doing this big show. They're there to see us. And I go out on stage to go, please welcome the guy who does all the voices. Please welcome Craig Gass. I get on stage and I go, how you doing? And I go, it's great to be back in Philly. And I'm from New York. Boo! And I never recovered just for saying I'm from New York. Boo! Boo! Yeah. And I just stood there and I waited and waited. And I finally just went, you guys want to hear some jokes? Yeah. Well, shut the fuck up. Boo! And a pretzel. Like,
now, how do you know that someone is from New York? They don't shut up about being from New York.
Listen, for me, it was simply a segue to just get to my point. It was brutal. And here's the crazy thing: the sports team, they are massive fans of their sports teams.
Yep.
It is one of the biggest sports towns in the country for Flyers, Eagles, Phillies, Sixers. They love their teams. Their teams have never done well for them. Almost never. They've had great players, almost never. And then the Eagles win. And even the way they celebrated was awful. When this guy was seen on film near the stadium, I remember the game was in Minnesota, because I go to the Super Bowl every year. I don't go to the game, but I always go to interview the players every year. And by the way, the players and the Eagles have been great. But this is what happened when they won the Super Bowl is footage came out of a fan that was celebrating. Everybody's out there, cops on horses. And there was one Eagles fan who was like, you dare me to eat the horse shit? And he did it. Here we go. And he gets down on his knees. This episode should come with a trigger warning. This is how Eagles fans celebrated. And you can say, it was just one Eagles fan.
Now, this is not indicative of all Eagles fans.
Of course.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. It really, I mean, dude, you got a reputation for a reason. And
So-
Eagles fans are sensitive to that.
Mhm.
I couldn't believe a friend of mine that I work with on the Howard Stern show, Will, actually said, well, when you go to an Eagles game and you wear like jerseys from other teams, it's like, that's what's supposed to happen. You're supposed to have a problem. And it's like, no, that's
What gang are you in, son?
yeah. I mean, it's
What block are you from?
it's
Relax.
the dumbest mentality. And it's the reason why I'm not a Yankees fan, even though I grew up 10 miles from Yankee Stadium. I grew up in Mount Vernon, New York, right outside the Bronx, 10 miles from Yankee Stadium. And I saw behavior in that stadium that I remember just looking at my mom and going, this stadium is loaded with assholes. I was 8 years old when I said that. I just saw horrifying behavior. I saw guys would beat people up for wearing hats from other teams. It's like, what is going on? It's just a game.
See, now I'm a huge Kentucky basketball fan, University of Kentucky, and we are a little overly expectant. A lot. It's like if we don't win a championship every single year, then fans are upset. But you know, Southern manners, Southern charm. If you're in the Rupp Arena watching a game and you happen to have someone else's jersey on, the opposing team, I never really saw a whole lot of like smack talking back and forth. Seems like most of the Kentucky fans, their tirades were directed towards coaches, towards radio personnel, that type of stuff. That's where I would always hear that. Yeah. And how about this Kentucky team? Have you been watching this at all?
Are they kicking ass again?
Oh my God. Brand new coach.
Okay.
Mark Pope. Brand new team. And we've beat Duke. We beat Texas A&M last night. It's incredible. It's been a lot of fun to watch. It's exciting. Scoring like over 100 points quite often. So it's super fast, big threes.
And you're not making the mistake of betting on your team.
I am not. No.
That is one lesson that there's very few times I listen to people, but you said something that really spoke to me.
Yeah.
You said, I'll never bet on sports again because I used to bet on my team, specifically on my basketball team.
I was like, ooh, this Kentucky's great. They're going to crush this team. There's no way they won't cover.
And you found yourself regularly in this bizarre spot where your team won, so you should be happy.
Yep. But I could not be.
But they did not win by enough to cover the spread, so you lost money even though they won.
And I couldn't tell you how many times I lost by half a point.
Oof.
Over and over and over again. No wonder I drank and did so much drugs.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, dude,
when I lost the bet, it was game on. That was not going to be a good night.
This whole thing about horrifying sports fans getting caught on the internet, I think is just a rare example of the internet doing good for the world.
I do like that they expose the behavior, but once you get into releasing phone numbers, releasing addresses,
that's dangerous.
Yeah,
that's really dangerous.
That deserves an ass whooping.
Agreed.
Right there. Yeah,
agreed. But to be publicly shamed,
absolutely.
That's great.
Yeah.
I wonder if that guy's going to. I mean, by the time you see this, I don't know how long ago it's going to have been since this event happened and what's happened since then. But I mean, the guy's got to go out and do an interview to try to say, "Hey, look, own it." Maybe like, what would you do? What would you advise the guy?
I'm not going to address that, but what I want to address is how are the Philadelphia Eagles fans going to address this guy? Is he going to be? Is he going to get a new Rocky statue? Is he going to be right next to Rocky?
Right. Eagles fans have to address it.
Yeah.
Eagles fans have to acknowledge, hey, we got a shitty reputation. That's not us.
Yeah.
You know?
It is.
Yeah.
It is,
the internet. It really is.
We've seen you. We've seen you yelling at a woman in a Green Bay Packer jersey. We've seen you eating shit after a victory. You are what you eat, people.
You're famous for booing Santa, which will be like, that was 20 years ago. You booed Santa.
And funny, though. That one's good.
And famous for having a jail system underneath the stadium. You don't know about that?
I didn't know there was Philadelphia specifically, but I've heard about underground facilities.
Not only a jail system underneath the facility, a judge who sat over cases on Sundays in the stadium.
Nice. Well, that was very kind of them to allow them not to have to spend the entire weekend in jail.
Do you think it's maybe like, we'll let you watch the game, put you in a suite, and then we'll just oversee some of the bigger assholes and just process these cases? Like,
absolutely.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So they would oversee cases, and they're just notorious. But I'm really glad. It's going to be interesting to see what transpires with this guy. But man, the internet, that is one good thing about the internet. Another thing about the internet that I think is interesting, the internet has killed liars.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because you can look at, when I was in high school, I went to high school in Tucson, Arizona, and some of my fatter friends, guys are just big big guys,
Mhm.
overweight guys. We go to bars and they'd go, yeah, I played college football. And girls would be like, really? And they would hook up with girls and like, they're just big fat guys. Now you're like, yeah, I played college football. Yeah, what's your name? What's your name? Yeah, I don't see you. What's your name? I don't see. I see an arrest record.
Yeah.
But I don't see anything about.
Yeah. I see your Weight Watchers program that you signed up for back in '84. It's still clearly still not following that.
But yeah, dude, the internet. Like people will try to impersonate you, right?
That would be hard though. Oh, well, I mean, they try
social
to-
media.
Yeah, social media. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I get that all the time. People, hey man, I just want to, they'll reach out on whatever platform different from the one that the other person was talking to them on. Hey, I just want to reach out and ask you if you're the one I'm talking to.
Did you hear about the lady with the Brad Pitt? That a woman thought she was talking to Brad Pitt. And,
Oh, the millionaire lady lost what, $750,000?
yeah.
And then saw him with his wife or something on TV.
Yeah.
Yeah. How does that happen?
I don't know.
I mean,
but
people want to be loved so much and just want to feel. I mean, I'm guilty to a certain extent of seeking the outside affirmation.
Mhm.
A rock and roll musician. Nobody plays guitar in their room to play guitar in their room.
I know on a much smaller level, my mom, I remember visiting my mom and I went to go check her mail and the mailbox was filled with these postcards. And I pulled it, it was like multiple postcards with pictures of small animals that looked sad. And I was like, what'd you get on these postcards? She goes, I don't know. And I go, did you give them money? And she goes, just a few times. And I'm like,
Yeah.
what are you doing? Now they're going to like, you give them money once. It's like, oh, look at this sad little puppy. You got $20? Look at this.
Yeah.
Man, this cat hasn't eaten 4 days in Kentucky. Can you send?
Here's
Sarah
20.
McLachlan.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the idea, I get it. And you hear about it every once in a while that some lonely person is being preyed upon. Like the guys, I get it. Guys are lonely. I can understand that. Guys like I can see how men can fall victim because guys don't know how to communicate with women.
Mm-hmm.
So, there's already like women, I think, can be with anybody they want to be to an extent. Like if they want, I think it's harder for men than it is for women. And the idea that women are sending money to a guy pretending to be somebody is just insane to me.
Yeah.
That's a special kind of woman that does that. But
My question is the lady ended up, I think she got divorced after spending $750,000. Wonder how much she still gets and still has after that divorce settlement.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh,
it's a crazy story, man.
Doing all that and still getting paid.
By the way, how are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
Yeah.
Like I said, I got on stage this past week with Josh Wolf at Kimmel's Comedy Club here in Las Vegas.
Yep.
It was only the second time I've been on stage since the breakup about a month and a half ago. And it was the performance itself, I loved it. It was great. I got up there. I did 5 minutes. I think this is the first time that I was able to do a set without having to look at any notes whatsoever.
First time ever.
Yeah. That's the hardest part for me with the whole comedy is just trying to remember every single thing. It's just a matter of repetition, I need to treat it like a song and just record my sets. Then just go back and listen to that over and over again.
You're more comfortable because your muscle memory is there for being able to stand up in front of like 100,000 people and play music.
It's nothing. It's
nothing.
I mean, I can do that all day long.
Yeah.
Performing in front of, 100 people, just myself on a comedy stage is incredibly nerve-wracking.
I've heard so many musicians say that. So many musicians say, what you do is frightening.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, what?
Yeah.
You're in front of thousands of people.
Public speaking is the number one, people's number one biggest fear most of the time. Not dying, talking in public.
In front of dying. Yeah, a lot of people said that.
I think I get a lot of my confidence from my mom way back in the day, actually. Part of the sets that I have out right now is I was the kid in kindergarten that had to wear a helmet to school.
Oh, that's right. I've heard you talk about it. So what kind of a helmet was it?
It was a bright orange motorcycle helmet. Bright orange. Yep. I didn't. I
Like
wasn't
a motorcycle, like the old school Evil Knievel.
that style.
but it
yeah.
was bright orange.
Yeah, because I had a head injury like right in the front of the skull. My dad was out mowing the grass, and I wanted to go watch him mow the grass. So I went outside to watch. My mom was inside changing my sister. My sister's 3 years younger than me, so she was 2. And I get outside, a rock shoots out the side of the lawnmower. Boom! Catches me
Oh
right-
my God.
I got a scar right there. I don't know if they can see it, but yeah, I do have a plate in the forehead. So long before death punch,
wow.
already metal as fuck.
Did that result in? Did you get a concussion?
Likely a concussion. Yeah,
Okay.
I mean it was a cracked skull. When the rock hit me, my dad said I stumbled back, chuckled for a second, I then saw the blood pouring down my face. Ran around the house twice. I went into the house after running 2 full rotations around the outside of the house, and I still remember my mom's face like when I ran in. Imagine your 4 or 5-year-old son coming in with a gaping head wound as you're changing your 2-year-old daughter.
Wow.
Like, yeah, I still remember that. But there was a very specific point, and I talked to my therapist about this. I'd forgotten about it. There was a point in life where I could have gone one way or the other, and my mom said something that stuck with me and changed my perspective of what I was going through at that point. Now, wearing a helmet to school, you can definitely get a complex from that.
Of course.
The attention from everybody.
I'll bet there are kids to this day that forgot your name, like who are like, remember the helmet kid?
Yep, probably.
They just remember he's the helmet kid.
Yeah, but my mom, wonderful, wonderful moment, and this is my mom to a T. She was telling me, I had to go get the motorcycle helmet, and she looked at me. She's like, "How cool are you that you are the one kid that gets to wear a motorcycle helmet?
Wow.
A motorcycle helmet to school." And I was like, "Yeah, you're right, Mom." Because I've loved motorcycles ever since I was little,
Wow.
And yeah, I was the kid that got to wear a bright orange motorcycle helmet. So
Wow.
yeah, that definitely developed a charming personality because I had to win people over.
Yeah.
And yeah, it all started right there.
How long did you have to wear the helmet?
I don't remember exactly. Yeah, I couldn't remember. Maybe 3 months or so because I had like literally like open basically wound until they put a plate in the forehead.
Did your parents ever tell you that you had any change in personality after that?
No.
I asked because I know Sam Kinison, and I think I heard that Roseanne Barr also were in serious accidents when they were kids. Sam was hit by a truck when he was a kid, and his family said his personality changed after that. He was always different after that. And there's always this question of like, well, maybe that's what made him different in the way he looked at life and had that unique perspective on life.
Yeah.
I always quote that one. There was a Sam Kinison piece that he did before he was famous. A comedian who used to work at the Comedy Store gave me a tape of him doing stand-up where he did a whole thing about Nostradamus. And he said, he goes, "Man, I'm reading about this guy, Nostradamus. And here's a guy who during his time was able to predict major world wars and even predicted the rise of Hitler and almost named the guy." Which, if you know anything about the writings of this guy, Nostradamus, he made all these predictions that came true or came pretty close. There were some really wildly accurate things that happened. And one of them was around the time frame of when Hitler would come up and around the same part of the world, he said the great hister will rise.
Oh, damn.
And he spelled it Hister, the great hister. And Sam Kinison said, and I'm reading this, it's very fascinating. And I said, well, wait a second. Wait a second. What if history hasn't even shown up yet? What if this is the guy that's going to make Hitler look like a pussy? Oh, like, and he just, and that insane paranoia was like, wow, what a brilliant, but wonderfully broken mind you have.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know that my personality changed, but later in life, when I realized that I had some impulse control issues, I looked into it, And that part of the brain that controls impulse control. And I remember I was trying to, I was arguing with my therapist, trying to say, I don't have control over this because I had a head injury when I was 4. And she's just like, come on.
You're hiding behind your
I was trying anything to try to not take responsibility for, the lack of impulse control that I had.
That is hilarious. That's hilarious.
Mhm.
But so personality wise, you guys are different, you and your sister?
Oh God, yeah, for sure. Yeah,
She doesn't have issues with impulse control.
She's sober too. Actually, she's been sober for several years. Yeah. But she actually lives way up in Alaska.
What part of Alaska?
It's in the Delta Junction. Yeah, it's closer to Fairbanks. It's in the middle of nowhere. She sent me. Her. You know how it's got the thermometer in your car?
Yeah.
It only goes to -40. It was at -40 the other day. I was like, oh,
really?
God. Oh, yeah. I don't.
Is she going to come see you in Anchorage?
Yeah. I'm actually, I'm hoping to put together a comedy show up there the day before the Death Punch show. So I'm going to go up there, do comedy the night before, play the Death Punch show, and then I'm going to stay like an additional week with my sister and just kind of hang out and check out Alaska.
That Anchorage comedy show is ready to go.
Nice.
Just whenever you're ready to go.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you need a comedy manager who gets stuff done, Craig Gass.
And now there's somebody who wants to join us. We had a text without saying his name, but there's somebody who said he wants to do shows with us. And
I'm excited about that.
That's actually a great idea.
I love it. That was fun.
Putting the three of
your
us
teaser, people. A third party interested in joining Craig Gass and I.
3 rock dudes doing a night of comedy and storytelling around the country. I thought that might be a fun summertime thing to do.
I love it. And luckily our schedule's pretty wide open. So I actually have the time this year to continue working on our new record and playing a couple of shows here and there. But that's the timing couldn't be better for us, taking a break from doing some shows with everything else going on. I'm so grateful that I have a job where I have the time to, focus on, personal stuff. Gives me the opportunity to follow through on other creative endeavors like stand-up comedy, doing this podcast, acting. I did the movie The Retaliators. So yeah, so grateful for the platform that's been gifted and all of the other opportunities that are available because of that.
It's crazy, dude. Your band is so popular. By the way, going back.
Don't say my band. I'll hear about that. Our band.
Yeah. Well.
I would definitely hear, oh, his band, is it?
By the way, I want to point out one other thing. I sent Matt a clip that I wanted to play, that show. Do you have it queued up to the right spot? When it comes to assholes in public, I do remember one of the craziest moments I ever saw with an asshole in public. I've never, in my life, I have seen easily thousands of bands performing, or at least, thousands of concerts over the years. And I've never seen this in the middle of a show. I think it was the night that you and I filmed, like you and I were just getting to know each other. This is over 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And I filmed this thing where I was performing at the same festival. Main stage is Five Finger Death Punch, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Megadeth. It's all these massive bands. And then on the side, out in the parking lot, is a comedy stage. And it's me and Andrew Dice Clay and Mark Norman. And we're doing this smaller stage out there. And I thought it'd be fun to go around and film all these musicians giving me advice. And I went out front of house to watch you guys perform. And I didn't even know this was going on, but your singer stopped the show and made an announcement. And this is one of the coolest things I've ever seen at any concert ever.
Okay.
Play the clip.
First off, the next guy that I see rip a girl's shirt off, I will personally kick your fucking ass myself.
That's it.
Yeah.
Dude.
That's the father and Ivan coming out right there.
Anybody falls down, you. Now that we have this established, repeat after me, Ohio.
All right.
Say burn, motherfucker, burn, motherfucker, burn.
All right. That's it. That dude.
Yeah. He's really good at that. Like he doesn't wear what he does now, but he doesn't wear in-ears. the rest of us wear in-ears. So he can hear the crowd the whole time. He's able to pay attention the whole time. He's great at stopping when an issue like that comes up and nip it in the bud.
Dude, I've never seen anything like that before.
Mhm.
If anything, I've seen moderately in the other directions, like, hey, look at these girls, you know?
Mhm.
It was the first time, and it blew me away that it was at a heavy hard rock show.
Yeah.
And it was the singer of one of those bands saying, hey, if I see this happening to these women, I'm coming out there. I'm going to beat the shit out of you. And everyone was like, yeah. And
Absolutely.
like, damn, I didn't
Yeah.
know that was going on from
Yeah.
where I'm all the way in the back. That wasn't the greatest video footage, but the audio is what I wanted you to hear.
Yeah.
Dude, that was such an amazing thing.
Yeah.
But,
He's very attentive to what's going on out there. Definitely takes the safety of the fans out in the crowd very seriously, and will step up when something's going on up there. We actually, one of our last shows that we played this past year, I don't remember where it was. It was one of the last shows, but there was a big fight right there in the middle of, right in the front of the stage during the song "Wrong Side of Heaven." What that song is not aggressive at all. And I remember I even being like, really? During this song? I mean, you
Wow.
expect, burn, motherfucker. Yeah.
Yeah.
Chaos going on.
Yeah.
Pits, that kind of thing. But Wrong Side of Heaven, that's when you decide. I think a guy was trying to hit I don't even know. But yeah, it was during Wrong Side of Heaven. People, there's so many other songs to mess people up to.
You know what? I meant to circle back because we're bouncing all over the place. We're talking about having the free time to be able to work on yourself.
Mhm.
There's one thing that I've learned about you that has always, it just became clear to me in the last few weeks that
Tell me, Craig. Tell
surprises me.
What's that?
You don't like being alone.
Oh, no.
For a guy who's a rock star,
Mhm.
and that's what you do for a living. I always got the feeling that most people who do what you do want their alone time.
Mhm.
Now, granted,
Under my terms and my conditions.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, like even me on my level of
Mhm.
doing comedy clubs, like sometimes I do big shows, but I'm mostly doing clubs. Last weekend I had a great show in Boise. But I hang out, meet people, and then I can't wait to go back to my room and just, what are you laughing about?
I know I always make fun of you about the
Soul
Soul Joes thing. I heard Joe List on his podcast singing the praises of Soul Joes. He was talking about how great the owner is,
Yeah,
how
he
great
is.
how great the room is.
Yeah.
I have never been to Soul Joes.
Yeah.
And
Well, the joke
it-
is that I was whispering on the phone.
exactly, yeah. And you had the shirt on. That's the only reason I was able to do that. He's like, yeah, just hanging out here with Chris Kael from Five Finger Death Punch, and oh yeah, I just got back into town. I had a couple of sold out shows at Soul Joel's.
Here's, first of all, this whole thing has been twisted into, because I was wearing a Soul Joel shirt,
Mhm.
you turned it into me like humble bragging about, here's what happened. I'm hanging out with Chris. Chris has never heard me do anything but me, this level, energy, silly guy.
Waka waka waka.
Yeah, I'm
I
Fozzie
think
the
we
Bear.
talked about this in the first episode, actually.
Yeah, Fozzie the Bear. I'm Waka Waka 24/7,
Mhm.
and I get a phone call. We're having dinner, and I'm being silly, and I go, wow, it's this girl that I'm been talking to, and hey, what's up? And she's like, I'm so horny right now, and I go, oh, hey.
That's when I heard the voice change.
Yeah.
I go, he's over there talking. I have not seen Craig get a sexy voice on. Yeah.
I'm listening to a girl say, oh my God, I just want you. And I go, oh, hey, well, I'm having dinner right now. Can I go back? Yeah. And I go, and you go, what the hell was that voice? And I go, what voice? I didn't even realize. And then I was like, and the whole time we're having dinner, I'm like, whoa, that girl really wants me, man. Like, I couldn't believe that girl really wants me.
Mm.
And I call her. She doesn't pick up when I get back home. And then the next day she called me and she goes, I have a drinking problem. And I was like, oh, man.
You think? Yeah.
But it surprised me
Yeah.
that I'm listening to you and I realize, wow, you genuinely do not like alone time.
Yeah. During the pandemic, I went through a particularly difficult breakup. And it was difficult because I hadn't healed from my divorce. So when that breakup happened, I was forced to deal with that loss. I was forced to deal with the loss of the marriage, the loss of the two pugs that I lost in the divorce, rightfully so. I was never home, she would have, and she's a wonderful mom. So, no shade on her on that one. And I didn't have the band because the pandemic was shut down. I had 13 bass packages that were sold that I didn't know what I was going to do with. At that point, I thought I was going to have to give back, $26,000 basically in refunds. And when I found myself in that moment, it was the first time in my entire life that I had lived by myself. Start off living with your parents. After, high school, whatever, you start roommates,
friends,
girlfriends after that, into being married for, so many years, going right into another relationship right after that. And then the bottom drops out of the world. And that's when the needy, depressed, anxious musician kicked in.
Alone with your thoughts.
Alone with my thoughts. I was 47. And the first time I'd ever lived by myself at that point.
Did you ever have a desire to live alone? Like, oh man, feel good. You didn't. That's why you didn't take it as any kind of a gift. You just were like, it was unplanned. You had no desire at all.
Not at all. Yeah.
But now
I was crushed. I did not deal with it well. I reverted back to, an emotional teenager basically at that point. But once some time passed, I realized that I had been gifted an opportunity for solitude, quiet. In my line of work, I'm around people all the time. Walking out of the door looking like this, I'm automatically on stage. I'm very full frontal. I'm not going to be able to hide, which I love going out. I love interacting with fans. I love interacting with people in general. I like people. And, to find myself, and instead of being, oh, why did this happen to me? I realized that it happened for me because the universe had gifted me a unique opportunity because the world was shut down. Living by myself, forced to work on stuff that I knew I needed to work on. And I got a little bit better. And honestly, one thing that I'm happy about this past relationship results from that not working out is I didn't really go off the deep end this time. So progress, I've gotten more comfortable. I'm like, okay, I know the universe hands you what you can't do for yourself. And I wouldn't have done it for myself. I was honestly like going into the breakup, I was feeling like I didn't have the opportunity to decompress from tour. That was bothering me. Like living with somebody, if I'm feeling emotional, whatever kind of way, I'm a man. I don't want to show this in front of, a loved one, because then I felt like I would feel less than. And by, the breakup happened the way it did. Now,
this breakup right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel decompressed finally. Like just yesterday, I had a pretty emotional day. It was one of those days that caught me off guard. And
it's surprising to me. I think it'd be surprising for a lot of people that that someone who does what you do for a living has problems like this.
Yeah.
Problems.
And the reason I talk about this stuff is because look at me. I look like a Viking.
Yeah.
I look like nothing would bother me whatsoever.
Right.
We have so many fans with this band that are military, firefighters, EMTs, rugged, tough dudes.
Yep.
Who I hope find some inspiration in me talking about stuff that bothers me. Because we're taught that, you keep your old school values like our parents, bottle it in. Nothing's supposed to bother you, all that stuff. So me opening up about stuff, that's part of the whole reason I do, because I want my story to have purpose and hopefully helping some other people.
Did you, when you first, was it 2020 when you were all alone?
Yeah.
Did you find yourself gravitating towards any women just to fill a void?
Oh, absolutely. You were telling me about the Bill Hicks joke.
Oh yeah. Bill Hicks has a legendary joke. All comics know this joke. Folks, this lifestyle that I have, it's going to take one very special lady to be able to deal with this, or several average ones.
Yep. Yeah, I have applied that to my own life and my own experience. I haven't done it this time. I'm actually committed to backing off and making myself kind of get comfortable with being alone.
Now, you didn't back then.
Oh no,
No, in 2020, you were going through
Yeah,
it.
I had my Oprah moment. You get some cock. You get some cock. You get some cock. We all getting cock.
Look underneath your seat. There's a cock in there. What the fuck? Hey, what are you doing in there? Hey.
So yeah, that was my Oprah phase. And this time though, really just accepting the gift. We are writing our new record right now. So I'm continuing to write. Oh, this is funny. I can't remember if I said this on the podcast, an earlier episode, but again, talking about being gifted with this opportunity. I had a song that I'd been writing. The music was great. Awesome. I could not come up with lyrics, melodies, nothing vocally on there. When I came home, realized I was broken up with. 2 hours later, I had verse, chorus.
Wow.
2 hours. And I got so mad. I'm like, does life have to be miserable to be creative? And the answer for me is apparently yes.
By the way, before we go, I got to tell you, you and I texted a little bit for the holidays. I went to Arizona, and I told you when I got to Arizona, I was going to hang out with Jason Ellis.
Oh, yes.
Skateboarder, podcaster, fighter. He's done MMA fighting.
I believe so,
comedian. I've only met Jason once, and it was to do his show. I did his radio show, and dude, that guy, I'm listening to his show, and I'm like, yeah, I want to do his show, man. I think him and I would get along really well, but I know he's like a hardcore everything dude. And my first time doing his show, he was sitting on a throne when I did the interview with him, which was just intimidating as shit. I took a picture, and it's somewhere on my social media, but it's a picture of him. His throne had skulls in it, and I was just sitting there like, hey, man. And he goes, how you doing? And I go, oh, man.
This was this past week?
Well, when I first met him.
Okay, got it.
At like 10, 15 years ago. But this, during the holiday break, I went down to Arizona for the holidays, see friends, family, and Jason Ellis was going to be there. And I said, dude, I'm going to do I just reached out to Jason. Jason hit me up right back. And he was like, he goes, yeah, man, come down, do whatever you want to do. So I jumped up on stage with him and did a short little guest set. And I sat back and watched him. I haven't seen him do comedy in, it's been over 10 years. And when he came out, dude, that guy is the most honest human being I've ever seen. Because
absolutely,
he started talking about.
That's how I know of him. Is hearing him talk about struggles that he's gone through, and very open, very honest. Yeah, about everything.
The guy goes out, starts talking about sex addiction, which is like, okay. He goes, so a little bit about me. It felt like I was in a recovery meeting. Like he says, I have addiction problems. I've been addicted to drugs. I've been addicted to sex. And he starts telling the story of finding out about Grindr. Oh, what's Grindr? And it's like, oh, Grindr is for gay men. I remember hearing about this like 15 years ago. A friend of mine's son who was like in his early, a friend of mine's son who was in his early 20s, good looking kid. He's telling me and my buddy about Grindr, and we're like, wait, so what happens? He goes, you just get on, and it's like, there's a guy 50 feet from you. Here's what he looks like. Yeah. You go over, and it's like, okay. And it's just.
And all of a sudden,
there's no dialogue.
Nope.
It's all action.
Straight dudes banging.
And I remember my buddy and I going, man, that's the coolest thing ever. It's like, because it's all guys.
Right.
There's no need for dialogue. It's all guys. It makes complete sense. But Jason Ellis starts telling the story about, I found out about this and I was like, whoa, like you can just have sex. It's a guy, but you can have sex. And the crowd is like, what? And he just, so I would just like have people come to my house and he's like, and they'll just leave. And I was like, but it's a guy. Like the whole room was getting uncomfortable. And the crazy thing about it is there were two women who still clearly wanted to hook up with Jason Ellis that night. And we're like, woo. And he said from the stage, I'm not going to have sex with you. I'm in recovery. Oh, nice. So stop thinking about that. And they were like, aw. And I was like, what is going on? The guy just spent 45 minutes telling the most honest stories about how he had gay sex, not because he's gay, but because he's an addict, which I have questions about that. Like,
and those ladies' responses in that crowd show exactly how a woman would lose $750,000
to a fake Brad Pitt.
Yep. Something I do want to bring up too is in modern self-help circles and whatnot, people talk a lot about vulnerability.
Yeah.
And my trainer Gil I forget the name of the podcast and who was talking about this, but it brought up a really good point. Vulnerability is like, it's the N word, not the N word,
Right.
the
N-word.
in fashion word. It might as well be the N word after you hear this though. The vulnerable, everybody talks about being vulnerable. The definition of vulnerable, susceptible to physical or emotional harm or attack. Yeah. I don't want to be vulnerable. I want to be honest.
Yeah.
I want to be truthful.
Yeah.
I want to, be authentic, but vulnerable, opening myself up for attack. No, absolutely not. Yeah. That's what writing songs is for.
What's wrong with being vulnerable?
By definition
Okay.
of vulnerable, susceptible to harm or attack. I don't want to do anything that's going to open me up for attack. No, I fuck vulnerability. No, truth, honesty, every other thing other than vulnerable. Vulnerable is the wrong word to use for that. Because by opening up about stuff, yes, I'm being truthful.
Yes.
But I'm not going to put myself in a position where that truth then becomes vulnerability and opening myself up to physical attack or verbal attack even,
That is one aspect of the definition. I understand what you're saying, but honesty does come with vulnerability because you're being honest. So, and
open up to the wrong people too. Being vulnerable is opening up with truth to the wrong people who will then use that as an opportunity to verbally attack, physically harm.
Yeah, there's always the possibility that people could use that opening to try to verbally or, but you have been vulnerable in the last 5 years since you started being honest about making changes in your life. So you've been vulnerable in that you've been putting stuff out there to say,
I've been honest, but I don't necessarily know that I've been vulnerable because it's coming from a place of truth, and I'm a strong individual who has done the work, continues doing the work every single day. You know that. So I'm keeping myself protected from being vulnerable by definition. I have truth has become more of a it's taken a bigger hold in my life. It's very important, and but vulnerability, nope.
Well,
any attacks, bring it.
And
that's me not being truthful or vulnerable right there.
And what have I learned about myself today? That I'm soft and what did I say about if I grow a facial hair, I look like I'm soft and goofy? What did I say?
I mean,
whatever. I'm soft and vulnerable.
Yep.
But
and sitting across from you, I'm hard as fuck right now.
2025 is going to be a great year. Dude, I've got some really exciting places, some shows. I haven't been to Tulsa in over 10 years in Tulsa. I'm coming back to Tulsa to do some shows at the Tulsa Comedy Club there at Bricktown. I'm going back to the Green Bay area, Appleton, Wisconsin to do Skyline. Both those cities are going to be in March. There's a big roast I'm going to be a part of soon in St. Louis. And a lot of dates. Hawaii is coming up. I'm doing arenas
with
Russell Peters.
I saw that. That's awesome.
Yeah, man.
I was like, I want to go to Hawaii too.
I think Dave Buckner is going to come join me.
Really?
In Hawaii. Yeah.
You know what? It may be a family trip then, because I might come out there as well. That sounds awesome.
Then you should come down, dude.
Yeah.
By the way, when Dave Buckner's got a problem, and his problem is
his friends with Craig Gass.
Well, beyond that is that when he first moved, he lives in Boise, and when he first moved to Boise,
give his address request.
Yeah, yeah. When he first moved up there, Dave Buckner, by the way, original drummer for Papa Roach,
wonderful human being.
Yeah,
who just got a brand new bike that he is loving right now. Yeah,
and this dude tells me I got people that I'm trying to get a pool put in. I'm trying to get some work done, and dude, these guys are overcharged. I know how much this stuff costs. They're overcharging me, and I'm like, really? And he's like, yeah, man, it's fucked up. And I go, wow, man, that is fucked up, man. I'm really sorry to hear that people are trying to take advantage of you. Then I go to his house to hang out with him, and he goes, hey, Craig, can I show you my trophy room? And I'm like, I go, yeah, man. He walks me in, and he's showing me stuff. He's like, yeah, man, this is my platinum record. This is my gold record. This is my we got the MTV VMAs. And I'm like, wow, that's cool, man. And I said, Dave,
There's a reason.
I go, Dave, you're not showing this to the pool guy, right? And he goes, yeah, this is the first thing I show people. And I go,
Yep.
you're showing the pool guy and the contractor. And he goes, yeah. And I go,
That's why you get the estimate before they show up to the house.
you got a pool guy who lives in Boise, Idaho. He doesn't know anything about the music industry. And then you bring him in. You're like, hey, here's my gold platinum records. How much is that pool going to be? Oh, it's like $5 million.
Yep, exactly.
At least.
Yep.
You know, I mean, that's what are you doing, dude?
Yeah, I have. I've been lucky that I've avoided that because I've got plaques of mine in my place as well. And
Yours are like on the stairwell going up.
yeah, it's a beautiful. I have very tall ceilings and like this. It's a nice reminder when I'm sitting on the couch of the accomplishments of what this band has done. It took me a while to put them up. Honestly, I was just like, I don't need that.
And
I don't need the ego wall.
How often have you had people in and you're like, I should have taken that shit down?
No, not that I should have taken that shit down, but I just told you about my Oprah years.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Why do you think those are on the wall, Craig?
Well, where do people find?
I would take those elevated prices to have that steady line of sixes rolling through the house.
Chris Kael will be doing stand-up comedy in Anchorage, Alaska, and other cities, and some special guests on those shows. And they can find you online.
Yep.
Social media.
Yep. ChrisKale.com. Any of the social networks. It's usually 5FDP Chris Kael. So that way, if you're talking to another Chris Kael, don't be messaging me because I just told you which one it is. And also, since we've been recording a lot of these and haven't put these out yet, I don't know when this is actually coming out. I just got a show April 11th at Wise Guys here in Las Vegas in the Arts District with Rick Diaz from the Kill Tony Show.
Whoa.
Yeah, incredible comedian from Brussels, I believe.
Okay.
Lots of one-liners. Just he's a wonderful human being, but all his comedy is basically super depressed, poking fun of wanting to die. Oh,
right on.
I get it.
Oh, that's awesome.
I get it.
Well,
Rick.
now
hold on. I get it, Rick. You're speaking directly to me in those comedies.
And you can find me at getgas.com. Getgas with 2 S's.com. That's Beardo. I'm the Weirdo, and we'll see you on the next episode.